Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to Cardmaking project 517, using our Anna Griffin supplies to make something a little bit different. And today we're going to be very versatile with our products. We're going to be using the all square dies from Anna, and we're going to be using them in a number of different ways. Maybe ways that you've not thought of, maybe ways that you wouldn't even try to use them because you might think it'll go wrong or something. So hopefully this will help and give you the confidence to try different things and use your dies in different ways that you maybe didn't think was possible, because that's what it's all about. It's all about playing and having fun, and I want to say getting value for money, but I mean making your purchases go even further than you thought possible. Now today's card is a tone-on-tone card. It's a beautiful card. It could be for so many different occasions. We're going to be creating it for a thank you card, but I think it would stand well for a wedding card as well. Everything I do use, I shall put in a detailed list on my blog, so please be sure to check it out. If I can include links, I will do. There's links from my friends across the pond and item numbers from my friends in the UK. Everything I have used in this project has been available both across the pond and in the UK, so you know, you might have it in your crafty stash. I can't think of an alternative of the products that you could use for this, because it's kind of specific for the items that we're using, but you know, see what you think. Please don't forget to share my videos, give them the thumbs up on YouTube. You can always comment on YouTube, and you can contact me directly through my blog. You can always comment on the projects on Facebook, and you can contact me directly there as well. On Twitter, on Instagram, I'm everywhere. The links are always at the end of the video. So please sit back, relax, and let's have a look at today's project. So the items that we're going to use, because actually we're not in theory going to use quite a lot of items for this project. We're just going to use our items a lot, if that makes sense. We're going to be using the Anna Griffin sentiment stamp and die set. We're actually going to be using this stamp here. It says thank you. So whatever stamps you have, if you've got one that says thank you, that would be perfect. We're going to use the all square dies. We're going to use all of them, and we're going to use some of them more than others. We are going to use the border die. We're not going to use the shadow die. We are going to use the circle and the border die. We're going to use the square and the border die. Now, for me, it's all about being able to use what I have in a versatile way. Because you look at that and you think, well, I'm going to have to use it with a square card. No, you're not. You can use them with your 7x5 cards. And that's what we're going to do. Today we're going to make sure our all square dies work on a not so square card. This is an Ivory base card. It's 7x5 inches in size. It's my favourite size to work with. I've already stamped it at the back, added my name for the handmade by stamp from Anna Griffin, and I just add the project number. You don't have to add your card number or anything, but just so I can keep a tally of where we are with the project. But if you fill your name in and give it to the recipient, they will just know who's made it, and they will love it forever because you've put that extra final touch on it. So this is our base card. I'm going to simply use my bone folder from the Anna Griffin tool collection to make sure that that is a nice sharp crease along the edge of the card. And then we're going to decorate the inside first. Now the inside of this card is really simple but very effective, and it would work for any occasion and for many card fronts that you create. So if you're new to crafting or you're always looking for ideas for inserts, this is a great one. So the first thing that I've done is I've gone ahead and cut a piece of cardstock, ivory cardstock, and you're going to see this effect throughout this card because it's a long time since we've had an all ivory card, and I wanted to make sure that you could see the layers, but I think it's a great idea anyway. Just a little tweak you could use any colour, you could use anything that's going to tone in, or you could use a contrast, so it doesn't matter. So all I've done is taken a clear ink pad and I've tapped the side of the ivory layer, and then I've just used clear heat embossing powder to create an edge. Now you'll see I've not quite done the corners because we're not going to see the corners, so that bit didn't matter. But I've done the sides. I've got flat tape on the back, and I'm simply going to peel my tape off, and then we can attach this to the centre of our card, like so. I've then gone ahead and cut a slightly smaller layer. This is where we've used the stamp from the Sentiment and Stamp and Die set from Anna. I've just stamped the word thank you again in a gold in ink, and then a clear embossing powder over the top. So it's not really bright gold, it's just a nice self tone. And then again I've done the same with the edges, gold ink powder, gold ink, and then clear heat embossing around the edge. I've got flat tape on the back for this as well, and I'm just going to pop that through the centre of our previous layer. There we go. Next, I'm going to show you the die as well. I've taken the circular all square die and the shadow die. I've die cut them in ivory cardstock, and then I've put them together and I've cut them into quarters. I have coloured the edge of the actual ivory shadow layer and heat embossed it, as we've done with the previous two layers. So I've cut them into quarters, and I'm simply, because I've got flat tape on the back, I'm adding these to the corner of the insert that we've just popped in. Now I'm just going to turn the card so I can see, and you can now see how I've taken that circular die and the shadow layer, cut it into 4 just through the centre, and used it in a completely different way. Now that's versatility. And now we can do the front of our card, which is going to be equally as versatile. And I just love this die set. I think there's so much you can do with it, rather than just die cut it and use it. If you get your thinking cap on, there's lots of different things you can do. So the first thing that I have here is I've die cut the square die and the shadow layer, and again I've cut it out in ivory, and I've inked the edge of the shadow layer, and then I've cut it into 4, just like I did for the circle. And I'm simply going to position each of my 4 into the 4 corners, and I'm hoping that Claire MacDonald is now going, oh yeah, because I know she likes to be inspired. And thank you for watching, Claire. Thank you to everybody that watches. So let's add the next corner, and then the 4th corner. So that's the full 4, all, I'm trying to say all 4 corners, that's the different set completely. That's the full all square die. Okay, don't worry about your crossover, you're not going to see it. So that's all 4 corners. Now I've just lightly put those on, so I might be able to move them just in case I need to reposition them. Now the next section is something that we're not kind of going to see, but it's peace of mind for the edges here to cover them over. So this is the ornate die for the border. So I've just cut it out in Ivory cardstock, and I'm going to just position it through the centre, and it goes over, it should do, if it looks like it will, it just goes over the edges, right at the edge, and just covers those. Now this section, as I say, you're not really going to see, but it's more peace of mind for the edge and neatening it off. So for anybody that doesn't like covering layers up, this bit might make your toes curl. But I just wanted to get rid of the sharp edges on the 2 corners that we've used. Sorry, the 4 corners. Okay, now the next bit, I didn't know how to show you how to do it, so I thought I'm just going to have to demonstrate it from the die cut square. So I've die cut the actual shadow frame and the ornate layer. And from the ornate layer, I've trimmed away 2 of the sides to make this shape. So it's now stuck down, but it shows you the shape. And trimming it, there's my foam squares from the middle. Trimming it down creates a very unique shape, and it's something very different, but again, very versatile. Okay. Then I've also done the same for the shadow layer, and I've just followed the pattern around the edge. Now I'm going to place these 2 on top of each other, and then you'll see what I mean about the pattern. Because as I've trimmed it, I've just simply followed the shape of the ornate layer and used my scissors to trim it down. I've inked the edge with the gold ink pad and then used the clear heat embossing powder. I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm going to position this through the centre of my card. So now you can see how it covers the layers that cross over for the corners and the sides, but the tips of the border just cover the edges of our corners. So that's why we wanted that layer. So now that shaped layer looks completely different to a square. Next, we'll go one step further with it. We cut out the centre after die cutting it, and we get rid of the actual corners. Now I'm not going to stick it down again, so I'll do it in reverse. So we've got rid of the corners, and again I just follow the pattern around the edge. I haven't made a shadow layer for this, but what I have done is made a smaller layer. So I've just used one of my own scallop dies. It could be a circle die, it could be just a piece of cardstock that you cut to fit, and it fits just underneath the actual open work of the die. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that down, because then that bit is flat in the centre of the die. Oops. And it will sit inside, there we go, like so, because I didn't want the edges, I didn't want a shadow layer for that, I just wanted the shadow underneath the open work. Hope that makes sense. So now there's 3D foam over the edge, all of it, and I'm going to position this layer over the previous layer. So you can see how we're building up. And you can see, actually, the camera caught the reflection of our embossing powder as we've toned in the open work of the circular, well, it's the square die, so I'm saying circular, it's the square one. Next, we're going to turn our attention to the small circle die. I've die cut the ornate layer in Ivory, and then I've die cut the shadow layer, inked the edge, and then used the clear heat embossing powder. It's to seal it really, but it just gives such a good effect. You can see how I've come quite deep into the actual shape on this layer. And then I've got 3D foam on the ornate layer. We're going to marry the two up like so, and then I can pop that through the centre of our card. So I'm hoping I'm going to get that quite about there maybe. I'm just going to have to look at it rather than looking eyes down. Yep, that looks okay to me. Next, I've taken a sentiment from, this is actually from the Painted Garden set from Anna. And I wanted a sentiment that wasn't really highly coloured or lots of gold on it. I just wanted quite a, I won't say plain because there's nothing plain about it, but one that just wasn't as coloured and toned as everything else, because I wanted it to tone in with what we were creating. So then I've taken a piece of cardstock, I've cut a strip, and quite crudely really, I've folded the edges in, I've cut swallowtails at the end of it, and I'm going to pop my sentiment over the top of it, so it makes it look like it's a bigger sentiment. So it makes it look like it's double in size. I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm simply going to position it kind of through the centre, just above it. And I'm going to finish the card off with a little bow underneath the sentiment. And that is our card finished. Now, before you all shout, oh, I can see a Christmas decoration in the shape and the layers and everything, I've already thought about that, and I thought, yeah, that would be quite kind of cool nearer the time. But look at that, that is just a wowzer. I really do think, not a flower in sight for anybody who doesn't, you know, do flowers. However, if you changed your colour tones, you could make that masculine. You could make it for a gentleman using your greys and your blacks and your browns. Can you imagine using a wood effect paper? I know Anna had some quite a while ago with some masculine papers. That would work, well, any of the papers would work well, any combination. But you could add colour for a wedding, that would look fab. Add a few pearls and gems. The inside matches perfectly. Now you see how you could use that inside for so many other cards. Quick and easy and just something different. Again, you could tone it to match. Stands up perfectly, definitely on the mantelpieces, this one. You've got your layers, so you might need some padding. It might need to go in a big fat mailer. Now I know we've not had those in the UK. We've had all the products to make this card in the UK, and you've had them all across the pond as well. It's just, I think it's worth it to get a bigger envelope, add your extra padding, maybe even make a fancy box. I did a video 18 months ago, it was actually on Christmas Day, about how to make a box for cards like this. And what a great card. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you a different way of looking at a beautiful die set and makes it even more versatile to get, I want to say, your value for money, shall we say, that type of thing. makes it go an extra mile for you. And please give me the thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Please share with your crafty friends. Check my blog for lots more photos. Now, you're not seeing me at the end of the videos now, because I've realised it's better for you to see me at the beginning than the end. You don't need to see me at the end. It's the project that it's all about. So there's going to be lots of photos on my blog, all the item numbers, etc. Any links I can include will be on there, so please check that out. And I would just like to say thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time.